It's equally as important. The darkness, the pain. You can't feel love until you felt true pain. I started to realize that I have gifts inside of me that were dormant. And I said, I am going to step into my own power. And I'm going to embody these qualities. I'm a warrior.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of In Reverence. Today, I have the honor of being in presence with a rising star in Los Angeles. As the host and organizer of the Raw movement in Los Angeles locally, as well as now her new creation internationally. She's a multifaceted and talented young woman that's about to take on the world. And with her vision, her dreams, and ambition, she is pioneering the movement. So it's an honor to present to you today, Miss Jamie Love. Welcome.
Wow. That was an amazing introduction. I feel so honored to be here today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. It's exciting to have you on my podcast. I know so little about you since we have just recently met, and I've only got to observe you from the outskirts
running
of life.
Around, planning the meetup.
A lot of things online, and one thing I was really moved by, impressed by, well, impressed is the wrong word, moved by is your, what do I call it? Your hunger, your thirst, your endless devotion to your path. And it's just beautiful, because the energy that I see behind that, we need more of that in life. So that's really why I want to open this conversation today. As in this podcast, we often like to shine the light on the people that we bring in reverence of the consciousness that is in front of us, the consciousness that you bring to our community and our life. What is that thing behind you that gives you this thirst, this hunger? Who is this thing behind you striving?
It's so funny. I was speaking about this yesterday in a podcast as well, but ever since I was a little girl, I just felt this drive to make a difference in the world, like wanting to do something great for humanity. And I just always felt like I was destined to do something really big. And I don't know, I've just been in search of my purpose ever since. And I went through different kinds of career paths, and I became a mom. And, I went through a lot of hardships in life. I went through dark nights of the soul, a lot of inner healing. I spent a few years going deep into plant medicines and, really healing my traumas and things like that. And now I just have this thing inside of me that just wants to give. I just feel so happy and satisfied and whole. And I feel like I finally learned to love myself. And I just want to share that with people. And I want to bring people together, and I want other people to realize their greatness, and stop feeling small, stop dimming their light, because they are beautiful and they are amazing, and everyone has a divine life purpose. And I would just love for everyone to wake up to that and come here, do what they came here to do. And if I can be a shining example of that, to inspire people, then I'll be happy. I mean, I'm happy already, but I'll be even more happy.
That's beautiful. Okay, she said it all. We can just pack up. That's it. That's really, really beautiful. So that shines a light on it because, we are in this group chat together since we met through the Raw meetups here in Los Angeles, and we're on that group chat, and there's a lot of talk about a lot of things. And it makes sense to hear you say that because every time anybody just threw the opportunity of any sort of thing out, you were there right away. You're like, oh, I got this idea and I got this idea. Okay, let's do this and this and this. And you're like, you're bursting with inspiration and ideas. And how do you keep yourself that alive?
Partly, I think that my father raised me to be like this. He told me to be the best you can be and go after your dreams and don't give up. And, he had an entrepreneurial mindset, very creative. And my mother had a lot of heart. My mother was very big in community. So it's funny because as you grow up, you start to see how you carry these negative attributes from your parents. But then you also realize that you bring on their amazing qualities as well. You take their gifts with you. And I know some people may not believe in astrology, but I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. And I'm a warrior. I'm also a life path number 1, which is a natural born leader. And Aries are fearless. They are confident and courageous. And then my human design is a manifesting generator. And when I started to look into these, I started to realize that I have gifts inside of me that were dormant. And the manifesting generator is also a natural born leader. And what they say about a manifesting generator is that we create our own energy and that we have the ability to work and create at the same time and never get tired, like an Energizer bunny. And we have the ability to create more in a short amount of time than most people can do in a lifetime. And when I read that about me, I took it into my own belief system. And I said, I am going to step into my own power. And I'm going to embody these qualities. And I'm going to step into my greatness. I'm not going to play it small anymore. And I'm going to love myself. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to stop people pleasing. I'm going to stop caring what people think of me. And I'm going to shine bright because I deserve to love myself the same way that I would love anybody else.
It's really inspiring to hear you talk. Please keep going. I like Very well said. You said so many things I could touch on, but the thing that comes to mind is Aries, they're fearless. What are you afraid of?
Losing the people that I love. My relationships matter more to me than anything else. Having peace and love with the people that I love, especially my children. My children, yeah. And I think a big reason why I just feel driven is I don't want to live a normal life. And I don't want my children to suffer the way that I've suffered. And I want to reach a certain level of success to give them a life that I never had, and I love them so much. So yeah, what I'm afraid of is, I think watching my family suffer, watching the people that I love suffer, that would be heartbreaking. Yeah.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you mentioned a normal life. What's a normal life?
A slave.
A slave.
Yeah.
Didn't even need to think about that one.
I don't want to be a slave. No. I want, what is it? Location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom.
I love that. So for the people that are listening, dig behind that. And Tell us why. What's behind that? I mean, other than just a thing of having money, do you just want to buy stuff or just?
Well, no, I want to have experiences and I want to give my kids experiences. I want to be able to have experiences with them. And I don't want to feel held back. I want to be able to give to the world without limits. I want to be able to create whatever it is that I want to give, whatever I want to offer the world.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a lot of vision for what I want to give to the world.
I love that. And let's go there. Vision to give into the world. You're currently hosting and organizing the Raw Food Meetup in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And you've also started the International Raw Food Meetup that is happening on March 9th, correct?
Yeah.
Is that your vision for the future, or is that a step towards something?
That's just an idea that came into my head.
Oh, you know what? I'm just creating this international movement, just, regular Tuesday.
Yeah, it was never my dream. It was never the big vision, but it came to me, and I'm all about following those nudges and doing, what I'm guided to do and doing what I have control over in the moment. So we might want to do this, but that's not what's in our present reality at this time. But an opportunity comes to us and it's like being handed to you on a silver platter. And it's saying, this is what you need to do right now. And then you might have to put this on hold, even though this is what you want to do. This is your vision, your dream. But Spirit has something else in mind for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that vision, that dream that supersedes all of that?
It's so big that I don't even know what it is yet.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I can't even see it yet, but I feel it and I get closer to it every day.
So you're birthing yourself into it day by day kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. It slowly gets revealed to me. Yeah. But if we saw the end, if we saw the vastness of it all, then that would ruin the journey.
You could say so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole process of self-discovery along the way, that's what we did come here to do, is to, like you said, not find yourself, but just to understand more of who we are, what we are. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a visionary, and only future will tell if you're even going to be a revolutionary or not. And
the Raw Food Meetup is a revolution.
Okay, there we go. It's a revolution.
We are coming together. We have people from all over the world that are working together, coming together to create this movement. Maybe I started it, but I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. I wouldn't be able to do it without everybody pitching in. And to see so many people coming together in unity is so beautiful.
That really is.
And because we're such a small percentage of the population, we are stronger together. So the fact that we are standing together, we're growing stronger. We are reviving this movement, and it doesn't just represent the raw foods, a diet. It's not just about a diet. It's about...
What is it about?
Community. Finding people that you feel safe with. Finding people that you resonate with, that understand you, that accept you, that love you, compassionate people that allow you to be your authentic self. And then when you are in these communities and you can fully thrive and become the person that you want to be, then you could go strong out into the world. This crazy world, we have all these things trying to knock us off our path, and we could be strong enough not to let these things affect us.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a shining star in front of me, and I would love to ask, not for myself, but the people on the other end of the screen that might be sitting there and wanting a piece of that which you have, this fearlessness, this conviction, this motivation, this certainty, that which you embody with your light. what could you tell them? How did you get there? What can they do to become this?
Well, I did a ton of plant medicine, so that could have helped. I had to overcome a lot of self-doubt and self-hatred. I had to forgive myself for the mistakes that I made. I had to let go of guilt. All these lower emotions are heavy and they weigh you down. And you just have to raise your vibration to get out of fear. It's really just frequency. It's energy.
How do you raise your vibration?
Well, like I said, letting the things go that are bringing it down, that are lowering your vibration. So sitting, wallowing in these heavy emotions, or carrying things in your energy field that don't serve you anymore. Past pains, traumas, hurts, heartbreaks. Like I said, I've gone through a lot of dark nights of the soul, and I don't know, it's just something about going deep into the pain and then coming out the other side, reborn. Like dying and being reborn, dying and being reborn. You just keep going deep into the pain and coming out of it.
I love that. So it's a continuous, ongoing process.
Ongoing, yeah.
And what I hear in there, so it's not all about just perfection and all about it's always good, but there's diving and coming out and diving and coming.
It's equally as important.
Okay.
The darkness, the pain.
Why is it equally as important?
Well, because it allows you to appreciate the good. And you can't feel love until you've felt true pain. It's like, it's the law of polarity, the world that we live in. We need one to understand the other.
It's beautiful. There's so many things we could touch up on.
I can tell more about the meetup if you want. If you want to.
Yes, please. Let's
dive
into that.
So, let me tell you a little bit about my journey with raw foods.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this was really interesting. My family, they're all meat eaters. And when my mom was pregnant with me, she had a really strong aversion to meat. So she couldn't eat meat. And she went vegan during my pregnancy. And then when I came out and I was a toddler or a baby, they tried giving me meat and I would throw up. Like my body literally rejected it. Not that I would push it away. I would literally throw up. So, she took me to the doctor and she thought there was something wrong with me. And the doctor's like, she'll probably outlive all of us. So I always thought that was really interesting. So I grew up, even though I ate some fish and eggs and dairy, I just grew up calling myself a vegetarian. And that was mostly because I didn't like telling people that I didn't want to eat meat. So anywhere I went, they would try to offer me meat. I would say, oh no, I'm a vegetarian. So I grew up with that label, even though sometimes, I would eat like shrimp or crab legs. Like I used to like that kind of stuff. And, I did go through I had a really interesting teenage years where kind of like you, where, I experimented with drugs and alcohol. I smoked cigarettes for 10 years and, I went out partying and I wasn't connected to my purpose and I didn't know who I was. I was happy and I was fun, but I also had like really big mood swings where I would fly off the handle and, just have these bouts of rage or anger where I would, blow up on somebody. I had very short temper. It's part of my Aries as well. One of my biggest life lessons was having to overcome this anger that I had. So as I got older, and I did have like some skin issues and digestive issues. I had a lot of brain fog. So my aunt, I can't remember how old I was. This was maybe 20 years ago. My aunt was diagnosed with cancer, and my mom started freaking out. So she started reading all these books on health, and she learned about a plant-based diet. She learned about fasting and juicing. So we started to incorporate these things into our lifestyle 20 years ago. And then I was like off and on, and I was doing really well for a while, and my brain fog went away, and I started losing weight. My skin started to clear up, but I had 2 kids, and I used these pregnancies as an excuse to eat whatever I wanted. I was like, well, I'm going to get fat anyway. I might as well enjoy myself during the pregnancy, and then I'll go back to eating healthy afterwards. So I put on 50 pounds with my first pregnancy. And then I put on 60 pounds with my second. And I was just looking in the mirror at myself, and I was really, really disgusted. And I just realized, I can't stop eating junk food and bad foods. And I had an addiction to pasta and bread and sugar and salt and processed foods, everything.
How many years ago was that now?
This, when I had my second child, was 13 years ago. So I found Dr. Furman, and it was right after I had my daughter. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was just like, something's got to change. I found, and this is how things happen, right? Like you have a revelation, and then something is kind of brought into your reality. So I saw Dr. Furman on TV, and he was talking about his book, his Nutritarian Lifestyle. I was fascinated. I was just like, hearing how people could eat as much as they want and lose a pound a day, and you can lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. And I was like, I got to do this. So, I bought his book. I read it from start to finish right away. I finished it really quick. Then I started implementing his very strict plant-based lifestyle. It was high raw, but it still had some cooked food in there. And wow, I lost weight. My skin cleared up again. I started, my eyes were bright. People were noticing, my pants were fitting. Like I was just feeling so good. I was eating lots of greens, and it was so different from the vegan diet that I had started when I was with my mom. So this was like more whole foods and lots of greens, lots of fruits and vegetables. It wasn't just pastas and breads and, like the unhealthy vegan diet. So then I did that for a while, and I started exercising again. I started going for runs, and then I saw Annette Larkins, and she was in her 60s. She looked like she was in her 30s, and I just couldn't believe that somebody could look that youthful and vibrant in their 60s. I had only been used to seeing 60-year-olds with canes and gray hair and just unhealthy, lots of wrinkles on their face. And she just looked so beautiful. And I was like, this is the fountain of youth. I was like, I have to try this. So I bought her book. I bought this other book, 12 Steps to Raw, which is basically like a 12-step program for cooked food addiction. So I read that and I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Bought the book. I went raw overnight. I threw everything out of my house. Oh my gosh, I threw the microwave out. Unplugged the stove, covered it with a huge cutting board, took everything out of my house. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I do? Like this is crazy. I don't know what to eat. What am I going to feed my kids? But I did that. And in the 2 months that I went raw, I transformed so much in that 2 months. After losing weight and going vegan, I was eating the plant-based diet. I was okay. But then when I went raw, it just, oh my God, it just propelled the transformation. Everything. It was phenomenal. I could not believe the before and after of 1 year, like where I was after I had my daughter, my second kid, to 1 year later. It was amazing. I was so inspired. I was like, everybody needs to know about this, But I didn't know anything about animals at the time. I didn't know anything about factory farm because I never ate meat. I was never a meat eater. So that wasn't, my big reason of why, I started doing it. It was more for, I want to look and feel amazing when I'm in my 60s, 70s, and 80s. I want to feel vibrant and youthful and beautiful. And my mom was really big into plastic surgery and Botox and tons of makeup on. And I just wanted to find natural ways to look beautiful. I wanted to enhance my natural features without having to go get plastic surgery or put Botox in my face or anything like that. And I just wanted to glow from the inside out, right?
Let me jump in there real quick before we get to the rest of the story. You do glow from the inside out. And as I'm hearing you say all these things, like I have 2 kids and 20 years ago with my aunt, I did this. You don't look your age. I don't even know what your age is, but you look no day over 25 right now. So I'm sure there's a lot of listeners curious about, how do you keep yourself young? Is it just the raw food? Is there other things? I know your handle is Ageless Beauty. So how do I achieve ageless beauty?
Okay, the first thing would be consciousness and energy and your beliefs, right? Well, diet would be the first. So cutting out the things that are accelerating your aging. And to me, I think a living foods diet is really good for cellular regeneration. And it's got a higher water content because you're not cooking the food. And then, detoxing things out of your body, like years worth of damage that we've done. We have to, clean out the organs, clean out the gut and the digestive system. Fasting, juicing, skin brushing, rebounding, clean, like stimulating the lymphatic system. And also, I don't know if Eckhart Tolle, right? He wrote the book, The Power of Now. And he talks in the book about how when you're living in a present moment, you age slower. So, yoga, meditation, these things to keep you present. It's like you're timeless. You're not in the past. You're not in the future. You're just, you're in the space outside of time. And then there's, like I said, the energy and the mindset. So if you've ever heard of resting bitch face, right? Like your emotions show up on your face. So when you're harboring anger, jealousy, fear, guilt, all of these emotions, like they're not only are they heavy energetically, but you can see them show up on your face and in your eyes, and you just have like a dimness about you. But when you go through the pain and you die and reborn and these things leave you and you surrender and allow this energy to leave you, and you're just left with this peace inside of you and this light and this stillness. And embody godlike qualities, or at least try to embody godlike qualities, because it's not something you can really try. We are these qualities like naturally, compassion and kindness, love, joy. These things make us beautiful and they keep us young. So it's just like the evil witch of the Wizard of Oz, right? They're the Wicked Witch. She's wicked and she's green and she's shriveled up and she's old. And then you have Glenda, the Witch of the North, and she's beautiful and she's kind and she's loving and she's just glowing and with radiance. So it's not even something that you can fake. You can't be harboring all of this pain inside of you and pretend to be kind or pretend to be happy. It has to come from a genuine place. And then on top of that, I would say your beliefs about aging or your beliefs about yourself, and reprogramming your thoughts and your mind to think youthful thoughts and to feel youthful, and just to come back to that joyful, playful, childlike spirit.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's very well said.
Thank you.
So let's all be like kids sometimes. I love it.
Yeah, I love this saying, youthfulness is a state of mind, and true beauty is a state of being.
Oh, wow. True beauty, a state of being. Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
It's really not about how you look. It's your energy, because kindness, no matter what anybody looks like or how old they are, kindness makes you the most beautiful person.
But to be honest, I can say that as a man, that there's different shades of women's faces. And there's the first shade that I see, well, I don't know you yet. And then when I get to know you, your shade of face changes. Mm-hmm. Because it's exactly that. The person that you are really makes the beauty. You shine. It's as if perception changes. If the character, if the thing inside does not support the face, then it's as if the face shrivels up, and energetically, like you said, you carry it on your face as well. So
Well, and relaxing the face is very important too. So lymphatic drainage in the face, um, and just massaging the fascia and the muscles, just to.
is that a daily thing you do, or
I try.
is there,
I've been so busy recently, but it's something that even if I'm not consistent daily, I'm still doing it for the past, however many years. Yeah.
is there any other things, like, so you talked about all those things, but is there any like products you use, or is there
Everything I do is natural.
everything?
Everything. So I clean my skin with apple cider vinegar and tea tree and distilled water. And then I steam my face with distilled water with herbs to open up my pores and get any dirt out. And then I use bentonite clay mixed with apple cider vinegar to create a mask. And that helps to, pull toxins out of your pores. And then I use hydrogen peroxide. Sometimes I'll rub an ice cube on my face. And then I use raw shea butter as a moisturizer or castor oil. But yeah, I don't buy any skincare products.
Is that the same for hair care as well, or just in skin?
Currently, I'm washing my hair with baking soda and sea salt
Interesting.
and doing a apple cider vinegar rinse.
Tell us about that. How would one do that? You say that like it's such a regular thing.
Well, I did it years ago. I used to dye my hair. I dyed my hair for so many years. I've ruined my hair. So I love you, but don't listen. But it's not where I want it to be, right? It's not like as long as I want it to be, and as luscious and as thick and soft and silky. And I've tried natural shampoos. I've tried regular shampoos. I've gone to the salon to get my hair shampooed and washed. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm putting negative energy into my hair, and maybe I'll have somebody else wash my hair. So, but it just, doing all this stuff to it. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go back to the basics of when I used to do the no shampoo method. And so I've been doing that for maybe a few months now. So just giving my hair a break from products and, putting things on my hair. So what you would do is I just take like a bottle. You could take like a squirt bottle, fill it with water. I like to use distilled water, but then I have a purifier on my shower too, because I have to rinse it and I can't keep filling the thing. But I try to use as much pure water on my hair as possible. So I'll put the spray bottle, and I put the baking soda in, put a pinch of sea salt in, pour the water in, shake it up. You could either spray it or you could pour it on your hair, and then really, just really clean it really well. Rinse that out, and then put a little bit of raw apple cider vinegar with the water. Pour that on, rub it in, let it sit for a little bit, and then rinse that out, and that's it, really. Yeah, it's very simple. And I sold Arbonne for a while, and I learned about chemicals going in our skin. And my husband is really sensitive to chemicals and things, so we just don't really keep chemicals in the house.
See, you say it's really simple, but the reason why I asked is because even within that simplicity, I'm sure there's many of us, and this includes me, where I'm like, well, it's so simple, but I don't know how to do it. So it's good to have that explanation. So thank you for that. Yeah. Do you also have, so you talked about the food, energetic, spiritual attitude about life, about natural products. Do you also have some sort of routines and practices that keep you youthful? I mean, you said the massage thing, which you currently don't do that regularly.
Yeah, it is regular. I mean, it's almost every day. Like I try to do twice a day. Sometimes I could do once a day. Sometimes I skip a day, but it's pretty regular. Yeah, for the most part. So the facial yoga, skin brushing. I try to exercise as much as I can. I like Pilates. I do hot yoga. I was a bike commuter for 3 years. So I like, just moving my body, and instead of just sitting in the car, I would bike everywhere. I still bike, but I have a car now, so mostly I'm driving, but I still bike local places. And what else? The Tibetan rites.
What does that mean?
Okay, it's hard to explain. So the Tibetan rites I learned about, there was this book. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it, but they said that it's like these yoga postures that you do. There's 5 different postures and you do them 21 times each. And it's supposed to stimulate the glands in your body. And in the book, he says that, he went into some Tibetan monastery or something and saw all the monks looked really, really young. And apparently they all did the Tibetan rite, these rites. So he wrote a book about it. And there's another woman actually she's a facial exercise specialist. She looks really young for her age. She also does Tibetan rites. So I don't know, maybe it works. And then I like active meditation too, and guided meditations, sound baths, breath work. What else? Just being present, being in love, actually. I think really being in love is a big part of just being playful and fun and lots of laughter. So much laughter.
I think the being in love part is the key thing that most people will leave out in their explanations. It does something to you. May it be being in love with a partner, being in love with yourself, being in love with the life you're living.
Just being in love.
Yeah.
Being in love with, like waking up, being in love with life. Yeah, in love with yourself, being in love with your family, in love with what you're doing, in love with your passion, being passionate about something, and being connected to your purpose. I think when you're connected to your purpose and you have a reason for being here, you are just filled with this energy and you're on purpose,
Yes.
And feeling inspired, feeling young again, because think about how children or teenagers act. They have their whole life ahead of them. But then most people grow older and they lose that. They give up on their dreams. So you have to keep those dreams alive and really feel like I'm so young. I have so much time ahead of me. I have my whole life ahead of me. There's so many possibilities of where things could go.
Well, even if I was old and I only had 10 minutes left, I still think living that passionately and joyously would be the best choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the love that you speak of, I think, is what brings that passion and that joy. So that's very well said. So, okay, little detour here. Let's circle back.
The beat up?
No, we were at your story. So we were 1 year after your pregnancy. You did it for 1 year, and then you thought, wow, what a change. And that's why I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah. So I went raw, and then, let's see. I did that for probably a year. And then I fell off the wagon, and I wasn't prepared mentally and emotionally to handle the rest of the world while being raw. My family they were not super. My mom was, but the rest of my family and friends, like nobody really understood it. I was still in social situations where I had to bring my own smoothie or bring my salad, and my husband came home from deployment at the time, and he was big junk food eater, big meat eater. And it was hard. It was really hard. So I struggled. I battled with food addiction a lot over the years. And my path or my journey to raw foods has been a path of exploration, self-exploration. It has been part of my spiritual journey. I don't really look at it as a diet. It's not some kind of destination for me. It is a journey. It is a process. So it's changed my life in so many ways, even though I haven't been 100% raw. I've fallen off, gone back on. But the whole thing of failing and trying and giving up and starting back again, it just has built so much adversity, or maybe that is for adversity. I don't know how you explain that, but tenacity would be the word, maybe.
They would both work.
I think, yeah. Of, just, and like maybe that has like really given me that strength, that drive to like not give up. And yeah, I think we moved to LA, my husband and I, my new husband, moved to LA right before COVID. And we moved here specifically, we wanted to build a life. We wanted more opportunity. We wanted to make new friends, like-minded friends in particular, people who were like us. And then COVID happened, and it was 2.5 years of shutdowns, lockdowns, and we didn't really get to meet anybody. And then as things started to open back up, we're like, okay, let's start a meetup. So we started the meetup, and we started with 9 people. And then that grew and grew. Now in our actual meetup group, we have 300 people. We just started it last May, I think it was, April or May. So then there's this guy, Brian Johnson. And well, everybody, because I make these reels too. I make videos of the meetups, and I put music behind it, and it just looks really fun. And everybody's always telling me, I wish I could come to your meetup. I don't live in your state or your country. And I always tell them to start your own meetup. And they're, it's just, I'm like, well, start your own. And then imagine I'm putting myself in their shoes if I wanted to be at somebody's thing and they're like, well, do it yourself. And then you just feel alone. You don't feel supported. So I realized how important was for me to build community. For what I wanted was connection and accountability and support and friendship. And I just wanted to find my tribe of people that I feel safe with, people that I feel like I can fully be myself around. All my life, all our lives, working for other people and family that doesn't understand us, we're not our authentic selves. And I would just want to be myself. I want to be around people that understand who I am. So what was the point I was getting at?
You did the meetups. You started, we were only 9 people. Mm-hmm. Came here, COVID, not many people, meeting people, wanting community.
Oh yeah, so people kept asking me, like, I wish I could come to your meetup, and I would tell them, but they don't feel supported. So there's this guy, Brian Johnson, and he is this tech billionaire, and he's trying to reverse his aging, and he's vegan. So I was like, okay, I like this guy. People think he's a little weird, but he's a cool guy. So he started these hikes, and I was like, let's go. He's into like biohacking. My husband and I are kind of into biohacking. So we went to his hikes, and then his hikes kept growing and growing. It grew from like 10 people to, I think he had like 400 people at one of his hikes. It was just insanely big and popular. So he had the idea to do this global meetup. He's like, all in the same day, let's do, and his slogan is like, don't die. He has his own thing that he's doing with his brand and his vision and everything. So his dream was to have 500 meetups all around the world. And he created a group and everything. So I kind of just modeled what he did, but differently, because he's a billionaire. He's got more resources to do it correctly. So I'm thinking, well, gosh, how can I do this? And I just kept seeing this block of like, how, this has never been done before, ever. Like, not only has it not been done before in the raw food community, but besides Brian Johnson, I've never seen anybody do this before, ever. And apparently I'm sure there are corporations and companies who do these, global things, but I've never seen them. So I was thinking, like, how can I make this happen? Because, I don't have the same resources that he has. I don't have a team of people to do this, and this. It's just me. And, I tried getting people involved or getting people interested, but maybe they just don't see the vision, or they don't have the drive or the passion that I have to put into it. So I'm like, okay, it's just going to be me, and let me just see what happens. Maybe I'll just put it out there, and maybe we'll get like 5 cities around the world. Maybe you have like one in, Florida, one in, maybe we get like 5.
How many do you have now?
We have 60.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it just kind of exploded, like I just put it out there, just started an Instagram account, and we now have 60 cities all around the world. 8 of them are in India. And all around the world, these hosts signed up, they stepped up as leaders in their community. We're going to host a raw food meetup all on the same day.
So how's it going to work? Is everybody going to be on Zoom? Are they going to be in person? Like, how's this going to work?
No, it's just they're in-person meetups. And they create their own meetup. They get to make it their own, whatever kind of activity, where they want it. It's theirs, like the point is just to inspire people to create a meetup. It's not mine, it's theirs. But the fact is that we're all doing it together, and people are stepping into their confidence because they maybe have thought about doing this, or maybe they're scared to do this. Maybe they have anxiety. Maybe they just don't think that they can, but I'm here and I'm supporting them and I'm helping them and I'm guiding them and walking them through the process. And because I'm here holding their hand, not only do they feel supported in this movement, but they feel connected. They feel like they're part of something. They're part of a community. So we have a Telegram group where we can all stay connected. We have a weekly call, like a community connect and a Q&A. People can ask questions. And then we are also doing a 40-day raw challenge, for people. And we have a support group inside the Telegram. And then how people will host is they sign up, they say, I want to host here. And, I send them this little instructions on what to do and how to create their event page. And usually they do it on Facebook. They get to choose all the details. And all they have to do really is take a picture, a group photo of their meetup, send it to me so that I can post it on the Instagram page. So imagine the Instagram page. Right now we have little flyer. I have a flyer, same flyer, but every time we have a new city, I change the city and I give them a flyer with their city on it. And then I highlight the host and the stories. So let's say someone's going to host in London. I'll take their picture and I'll say, this is so-and-so. They're hosting in London. And, I'm giving them, I'm shining the spotlight on them. I'm giving them the spotlight and helping them promote their meetup, helping them get it going, And it's bringing so many people together. It's really, really beautiful. And then, on the page we have, and another thing that I'm doing is highlighting the host, doing Meet the Host. So doing Instagram lives with the hosts where we get on a live and I introduce them and they share their story about raw foods, what inspired them to want to create this community, whatever it is, what are they doing? Are they coaching? Are they helping people? So, we're doing that, to highlight these people who are, coming into this movement. And then, I think it'll be, and we also have like commemorative t-shirts, I just think would be so cool. Like people can all have, t-shirts to, my vision would be everybody has like a t-shirt on in their photo, maybe not this time, maybe the next time. And then I can't wait to see on the Instagram page, everybody's group picture, like all these meetups all around the world, Singapore, London, New York City, San Diego, everywhere, and just seeing like all the beautiful meetups. So
that's lovely. That's inspiring.
Thank you.
And it came together so quickly. That's really
just a couple weeks. Yeah, it's been a month, I think.
So the thought that comes to me now is there might be somebody sitting in the audience thinking to themselves, I'm not a vegan. I'm not raw. I'm not anything close to that. This is all like so far away. It's intimidating. How can they find space in that?
Well, the biggest thing that I am stressing about these meetups, and I put this in the guidelines, that we are non-judgmental. Everyone is welcome. So we're uniting people in the raw food movement and respecting people where they are in their journey and planting seeds and just creating a safe place for people to come and to learn and to grow. And I was at a place where I wasn't vegan. And when I went raw, when I was curious about it, I think because I went off and on vegan, I probably wasn't even vegan at the time, but I went to a raw food meetup and I felt welcomed, and people answered my questions. And I mean, that's really what it's all about is not excluding people, and not judging people. And that's why it's a raw food meetup. I don't say raw vegan because I don't want people to feel like if they're not vegan, they can't come. And, so we're uniting people regardless of their dietary choices. Everybody's going to have a different version of the raw food diet. Somebody might eat honey. Somebody might eat, fruitarian. Somebody might eat, gourmet raw foods. Somebody might just live on juices, whatever it is. So
I love that. I find that really important because to me, in my experience, a lot of people are experiencing, I'm going to put the word vegan in there, that side of life as very judgmental and are really turned off by that because it has so many rules to it. And if you're not this, you're not like, it's such a polarity kind of thing. And I love that you're opening it up to everyone, that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what choices you're making right now, the door's open, you're welcome here. And that's really, really beautiful.
And that's mostly why I don't really talk about food.
I love that.
Because it's not really anybody's business what I eat, and it's nobody's business. It's not my business what anybody else eats. If somebody says that they're raw or they're not raw, whatever it is, that's their choice. I don't judge anyone for their choices. I have friends and family that are meat eaters. My kids eat meat and dairy, and it's not my business, what other people do. Yeah. And I know exactly what you mean about that. Yeah.
See, it's really and that's what I really advocate for. It's really the thing behind that that's important. The vantage point we're looking at things for. It's not really about what exercise you do, what gym you go to, what food you eat. Are you raw? Are you that? It's really behind all that, there's a vantage point. And we can meet at that vantage point. And it sounds like you're doing this meetup from exactly that point, that where everybody is welcome and we can meet behind the thing that's just a label to have an excuse to meet up with.
And not just that, but realizing that, let's say you do try a raw food diet, or you are raw, or you've been raw for 10, 20, 30 years. It's not the end all be all. It's not meant to take over our lives. It's just food. It's just food. Now that you're raw, what's next? What comes after that? So for me, it is eating raw for me makes me feel like a superhero. I feel like I have superpowers. I feel like I can accomplish a lot. I feel very smart. I feel like I can understand concepts that I never used to be able to understand. I do have a lot of energy. I feel like I can work from morning to night, never getting, burnt out, especially when it's doing something you love. So the thing is it's a platform to get to the next level. You can use it to help you discover your purpose. And that's what it did for me. And I wish more people would just throw out all those you can eat this, you can eat this and this water, and who the heck cares? Just let drink your water, let somebody else drink their water, and let's collaborate together. Let's build together, because that's really what we should be doing, is not having debates on what we're eating, because honestly, that's just a distraction. We should be coming together to create.
I love that. Very well said.
Yeah.
So it's a thing that gives you superpowers. So what are you going to do with your superpowers now? I'm curious about that. That's beautiful. So I have so many questions about all the things. I really absolutely love that, because up until this conversation, I have experienced it the other way around. And when I joined let's call it the raw food movement, I kind of stayed away from it a little bit. I don't really talk about it because I have this thing. So I had a friend 20 years ago. He went vegan and everything was about that. It's like you mentioned the shoe and it turned about vegan. And you mentioned the street light and it was about vegan. Everything became that. And I still, to this day, experience a lot of people that get fixated on this one thing and it takes over their life. So I really love that you say, hey, it's just food. I mean, it's just food, right? It's super important, but it's just food. And now can we move on from that and actually get to life? That's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you hold the space that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. It's okay. It came to me and then I forgot.
So I want to take this moment to circle back a little bit, because you said something a little while ago that I found super important. And I think it translates to a lot more things than just the raw food movement. I think it translates, as you said, this is more of a spiritual journey, right? It's a devotion to the self on our journey. And you said, I wasn't ready. And I'm just quoting you, please, if I butcher your words. You said something along the line, I wasn't ready to meet the rest of the world being raw. So I'd like to dive into that for a moment. How did you face that challenge? Because I definitely have that challenge. And I'm probably sure a lot of people out there that whatever they're doing may be about the food or whatever they're doing in their life might be the same thing. They changed something, they grew, they did their journey, and all of a sudden it's this interfacing with the rest. And how did you handle interfacing with the rest and integrating that while still staying strong and not getting distracted or knocked off your horse?
Oh, I got distracted and knocked off many times. I don't claim that at all. Yeah, I still struggle. I still struggle with it. So, not with being true to who I am, but being, dealing with my own, addictions and things like that. When it comes to like as much raw as I want to eat, and I'm not 100% raw. I'm high raw. I've done 100% raw many times. I've been doing this for 13 years, and I've tried many variations of the raw food diet. So when I first started, I think I wasn't equipped to handle criticism and judgment, and I also feel like I was in toxic environment. It took a long time for me to change my life and rearrange my life to be in an environment where I can thrive and be myself. And that just took trying different things, putting myself in different situations and surrounding myself with people that believe in me and lift me up, and that I can, I think my husband really honestly had a lot to do with it too. He's taught me so much, and I honestly don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for him. He's really just taught me so much about life. And, I got a job at this yoga studio, and my experience there was very positive. It was stressful, but it was very positive. And I had a boss that was just so inspiring, and it was a breath of fresh air compared to some other jobs that I had with angry bosses who yelled at me and threatened my job and made me cry. It was really toxic. And, I felt so loved. And it was the first time in my life that I realized you could be in a workplace and be fully accepted for yourself. And they accepted me for who I was. They knew the way I ate and the things I did, and they didn't judge me. They looked past all of that, and they just loved me for who I was. And then on top of that, I think, meeting other people in this raw food community, that has also helped me to feel strong in who I am. And then when you do that, when you feel strong in who you are, you can go out into the world regardless of naysayers or people putting you down or why are you eating that? Or, now I go to restaurants with my daughter and I pack my own food and I don't care, I don't care what anybody says. So, yeah. Did that answer the question?
Absolutely. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sitting there as a shining star within her strength and her vulnerability at the same time. Really, you embody it so beautifully. And I wish we'd have hours and hours and hours. I'd love to continue this conversation, but we're going to bring the podcast to an end, respecting your time. And hopefully we'll have many more conversations like this. It was really, really beautiful to get a glimpse of the life that is you and the way you see the world. I heard a lot of things that surprised me, but I guess I wouldn't have expected. So that's really, really beautiful to get a chance. And I hope the people listening got as much value out of it as I did, because I think you're a beautiful blend between strength and vulnerability. And then you carry the reverence of love within you, knowing that it's not just you, but you see everyone around you, and then you hold the space for everybody. I wish you so much good things with your meetups that you're doing and all the endeavors you're on, and may you lift people's light and people's life with all that you are. And of course, may your heart always be filled with love and joy as well. I want to thank you for joining me today, for opening your heart to me as well as to the people, and giving us a little glimpse into your life.
Thank you. This has been really great. Thank you so much.
So please let the people know there's 2 things I want you to share with them. If I'm interested in the meetup, the international meetup that you're doing, even if it's after the date, maybe for the next time, how do I find that? And beyond that, how do I find more about you? Do you have more material online? Can I reach out to you? Can I connect to you?
I think Instagram would probably be the easiest, and the handle would be Raw Food Worldwide Meetup. And then there's a link in the bio, and you can find all the links. And my personal page is Ageless Beauty 143. So just send me a message, come say hi. I would love to connect with you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being here. And that's it for this episode of In Reverence. Thank you very much for a beautiful guest, Miss Jamie Love, for being here today. And thank all of you for being here. May you have been here with us in the moment or any time in the future. And I will see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Namaste.